Understanding Florida auto insurance is no easy task. Florida has several insurance provisions that many other states do not have, and that includes personal injury protection. In today's Injuries Are Personal, attorney Carl Reynolds is here to explain what PIP or PIP is all about. All right, this is not hard to understand why we get confused. Florida's only one of 10 states that actually has PIP. So
Correct.
What is it?
Well, PIP is the no-fault provision of Florida law. Many people have heard that. We're a no-fault state. And a lot of times people don't understand, what does that mean?
Right.
Doesn't matter who's at fault. The other side pays for it. That's not what happens. What happens is the Florida legislature put together a plan so that when you're in an accident, you don't have to confirm whether or not the other person has insurance or adequate insurance. You have a pot of money, $10,000, to pay for your medical expenses. So you can go and get medical care immediately and know that through your own policy, you have up to $10,000 to pay for those medical bills.
Okay, but there are some procedures that you have to follow so that you actually get this full benefit of PIP, and I've had doctors point that out.
Correct.
So what is the one first thing, if you're in an accident and you are injured, that must happen for you to truly get this coverage?
Well, first thing is you got to have insurance, okay?
Right.
You got to comply with the law. And assuming you have insurance and a valid policy, you have to get medical care within 14 days.
Okay.
You've seen that, you've probably heard that before, but you've got to get medical care within 14 days.
Okay, and let's take a closer look at that full screen too, because the line where we have personal injury protection is something that needs to be taken a look at as well. So within personal injury protection, there is a deductible.
You can elect a deductible. On this sample policy that your viewers are seeing, there's a $1,000 deductible. That is the maximum deductible allowable now. In times past, you could elect up to a $2,500 deductible, but that's what that means. And you see it says and REL. It's also and relatives. So it's a deductible for the insured name and all relatives in the household.
Okay, so what do I do? I'm in an accident, I'm injured. We won't worry about who hit who or whose fault it is. What is the procedure that I go through? Within that 14 days, I see a doctor.
Need to see a doctor.
And then everything gets handled according to what?
Well, you got to see a doctor first.
Yep.
Okay, and get checked out. A lot of times what we're dealing with these kinds of cases, auto accident cases, are spine injuries, right? And a lot of them are whiplash related injuries. So you need to seek follow-up medical care for those injuries. They could be with a physical therapist, with a medical doctor, with a pain management specialist, or a chiropractor.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that you go see a provider that accepts auto insurance. Most providers do. Some don't know how to bill it, so just make sure they're familiar with how automobile insurance
And tell
works.
them this is a car-related accident
Correct.
injury. Okay.
Correct. And you'll have up to $2,500 of the $10,000 available for that kind of care. You have to prove what's called an emergency medical condition in order to get access to the full $10,000. It sounds more serious than it is. The definition for emergency medical condition basically just says you need care or else you're going to suffer greater injury or pain.
So it's not
later
that
on.
hard to
Correct.
get to. So right off the bat, $2,500, no questions asked.
Correct.
If I go to the emergency room, if I'm getting a scan, something like that, I'll be covered.
Correct.
For that. Well, that's good to know, because a lot of times I think one of the reasons we don't go to the doctor is because we're afraid of the bills that may mount up. So
And
this kind of protects us against that a little bit.
It does. It protects against it. Now, there is a copay provision of PIP, no fault coverage, okay? It's basically 20% of the bill.
Okay.
So that $10,000 pays 80% of the medical bill. The remaining 20% would be the at-fault party's responsibility. Now, if you cause an accident, your PIP still applies. So if you cause an accident, you're hurt, your PIP's still going to pay 80% of your bill. So it doesn't have to be something where you weren't at fault, or it could be a case that you caused. It could be a single car accident where you run into a tree.
But so you have to figure that you'll have to pay 20% of the bill,
20%.
and other than that, the PIP will then cover it. I think this is important for us to understand, because it helps us want to go make sure we're okay.
Correct.
Knowing we're not going to go broke doing it.
That's the point of the provision, is to make sure that people can get medical care when they need it, without having to confirm whether or not the other side has insurance or adequate insurance.
Okay, well that's important then. So we should not hesitate to check out injuries that occur.
Absolutely.
All right.
I want to
good.
salute all the veterans out there. I'm wearing my patriotic colors. I
see
got
that.
many veterans in my family, and I just want to salute them. God bless them.
Absolutely. We're celebrating Veterans Day as well. So for more information about any of your legal questions, go to injuriesarepersonal.com. We'll be right back.